Lakeside Dental Clinic, Go Island, is brought to you by Lakeside Dental Clinic.
Black diamond dust, an historic walk back through Nanaimo's coal mining history, runs at the Nanaimo Art Gallery until December 13th. Saving a career with the 1946 Ford, it's not your typical reading circle, and the boys are loose in downtown Nanaimo. Before we get started on our exploration of black diamond dust here at the Nanaimo Art Gallery today, I'd like to give a huge shout out to everyone involved in the second annual fundraising telethon for the Nanaimo Child Development Center. It took place this past Sunday at the Port Theatre, and the grand total was, drum roll please,
$169,000. And I didn't hear the rest of it, did you?
I didn't hear it, but almost $170,000. That's huge.
Once again, thank you to everyone who made the success of the recent Nanaimo Child Development Center telethon a huge success. Without your help and support, they could not provide the valuable service that they do in this community. We're starting off today, before we get into black diamond dust, with a ride in a 1946 Ford. Here is Rayanne LaPlante. A black diamond dust runs at the Nanaimo Art Gallery until December the 13th, and it really is an artistic walk through our history. What will we find inside here?
Yeah, not only will we have artworks that respond to Nanaimo's industrial history as a former coal mining town, but we'll also find artifacts from the Nanaimo Museum and photographs that we borrowed from the Nanaimo Community Archive. But it doesn't just end with Nanaimo. A lot of the works respond to Nanaimo's relation with global mining practices as well.
So, and how have you organized the content that's here at the Malaspina campus?
Well, there's a rhythm of things. So as you enter into the space, the first work you see is by Stephanie Aiken. She's a painter from Vancouver. She was an artist in residence at the Miners' Cabin at Buttertubs Marsh. And while she was there, she responded to that area being a former coal mine, but also being this landscape that is kind of almost the closest thing we have to a pre-coal landscape. So coal came out of peat bogs and marshes, and Buttertubs Marsh being a marsh is pretty much the closest thing to that. After that, you might see some archival photographs of Nanaimo's history, and then a large photograph by Edward Bertinsky, who's a really famous and amazing Canadian photographer who photographs industrial landscapes around the world. And this photograph is of a port in China, and it shows just the enormity of the way that coal is distributed around the world and how it's such an important fuel. Today, you know, in Nanaimo, we think of it as from the past, but it's so present globally.
And we are really just scratching the surface here. You should come and experience the exhibit for yourself. It runs through until December the 13th. We are going to share a bit more of it with you. Black diamond dust after a short break. Still to come today, it's not your typical reading circle. Rapid fire with the Nanaimo Clippers and exploring Nanaimo clocked style. These are two photographs from 1912 that you will find as part of the Black Diamond Dust exhibit at the Nanaimo Art Gallery, running until December the 16th. Now, they're courtesy of the Nanaimo Community Archives. This is an ambulance car, part of the railway system that would transport the miners, and that is quite literally a canary in a coal mine to test for gas levels. And if the gas levels got too high, which they did on a regular basis, people would have to put on these gas suits in order to go down into the mines and rescue whoever they could, something that did happen on a regular basis. One of the things that this exhibit does is connect Nanaimo and its relationship to coal mining with other mining centers around the world, including the UK, the Appalachians. There's an audio portion to the exhibit. You really should check it out. And there's also a connection to China's current mining practices, which aren't that different from what they were here in Nanaimo over 100 years ago. Gabriola Island is often referred to as the Isle of the Arts, and it actually holds the title as having the 6th highest concentration of artists in Canada, and 50 of those artists will be opening their studios for the annual Thanksgiving Gabriel Studio Tour that runs October 11th through the 13th. Very high caliber artists. You can get more information, maps, and details, www.artsgabriola.ca. Up next, one of our volunteers, Fiona Shedden, who you may have seen as a little bit of a sidekick to Todd Jones and Derek Johnstone in recent editions of Clocked, brings us a story now about a reading circle. But it's not your typical reading circle. Here's Fiona. Mauve Ghosts by Devin Knowles is one of many parts of an exhibit called Black Diamond Dust running at the Nanaimo Art Gallery until December the 13th. We have moved from the campus gallery to the downtown gallery here on Commercial Street. Mauve Ghosts has a significant connection to the coal mining industry for many reasons, one of which is that the color mauve was actually the first synthetic dye, and it was taken out of coal tar. That's one part of a very big story. You should experience it for yourself. We'll share more of it with you in the next couple of minutes. In the meantime, here's Dan Marshall with Rapid Fire. Behind me here in the Art Gallery on Commercial Street in downtown Nanaimo is a huge and very old map of mine number 1. Now, at first, it's not easy to see exactly what it is we're looking at. Can you interpret it for us, Jesse?
Yeah, absolutely. It depicts the underground workings of the number 1 mine from 1884 to 1938. So
it is huge. I had no idea. No idea that it was this big.
Yeah, it goes from the foot of Milton Street here, which was the main entrance, all the way into the ocean. So we're looking, this is the land, this is Nanaimo up at the top, very top edge. And we're looking deep into the ocean, past Protection Island, past Newcastle Island.
All of this is underwater?
All this is underwater. So under land and underwater was where the miners were working. And there's dates all over it, so you can sort of map the, literally map the trajectory of their digging by looking at the dates. And the dates show when they would pull the pillars out and let the mine collapse behind them for safety reasons. They would, as they would leave a section, they would just pull all the pillars out. So different places it says, this one here, pillars drawn January 1904.
And that's kind of part of the mystery that envelops Nanaimo now, is that we don't know how many of these mines remain uncollapsed. Is that right? So some of these that were formed are still active. And we did see last year at some point a street sort of collapsed into the mine because it hadn't been collapsed.
Yeah, and this is just one of many, many, many mines all over Nanaimo from the north to the south. So yeah, when I grew up, an air shaft collapsed in a house in a lot near my house. So yeah, it happens all the time. Recently, I think on Victoria Street, the part of it sort of collapsed because of a sinkhole due to a mine. So we're literally having to think about this all the time. The number 1 mine disaster happened in 1887. So this was just a tiny, tiny, tiny little part of this at that time. And then after that disaster happened, they just kept going and kept digging.
Wow. And this was covered in coal dust and it was cleaned a little while ago, because it looks pretty pristine at the moment.
That's right. So yeah, they would unfold this in front of the mine and the miners would look at it to reference where they were going that day. So it just got so filthy. So this belongs to the archive. The archive is actually downstairs in this building, and so we borrowed it and brought it upstairs. But yeah, about I think 7 to 10 years ago, they had it professionally cleaned, so now you can see all the details.
This really is something that you need to check out. There's so many things that we haven't even touched on. Black Diamond Dust runs at both campuses of the Nanaimo Art Gallery, and there's another venue as well.
An artist did a project in the Nanaimo Museum, and there's also a billboard coming in from the New Bay that artist Raymond Boisjoli did.
Excellent. Okay, get more details online, NanaimoArtGallery.ca. I believe, if I'm wrong, a little thought bubble will pop up onto the screen to correct me. We're going to have another look now at a past edition of Clocked. And just to note that the Italian fountain is now undergoing some repairs, upgrades to lighting, electrical, and mechanical. They will be repairing some of the aesthetic properties as well. It started this past week and runs through for the next 3 weeks. Repairs to the Italian fountain. Before we sign off today, we just want to thank Jesse for our very thorough and almost private red carpet tour that we've shared some of with you. It's Black Diamond Dust that runs at the Nanaimo Art Gallery locations until December 13th, with portions of the exhibit at the Nanaimo Museum as well. If you would like to experience a guided tour yourself, there is an upcoming opportunity to do that. It'll take place on October the 18th, downtown here at 11 o'clock, up at the campus at 1 o'clock, and it will be partnered between Jesse Birch and renowned historian and author Lynn Bowen. You can get full details, NanaimoArtGallery.com. Thanks for watching this edition of Go. We'll see you next time.
Lakeside Dental Clinic Go Island is brought to you by Lakeside Dental Clinic, a division of the Vancouver Island Implant Center, delivering dental services, including dental implants and sedation dentistry, all under one roof. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.